as we go through some of these videos, there's this like permanent condition of fear. There's an underlying sense, especially amongst like the Charlie Kirks of the sector. I guess walking on eggshells would be a way of putting it, but more like walking through a minefield. That they're so scared of saying the wrong thing. They're so scared of stepping on a landmine, of expressing something in not quite the correct way and having their lives destroyed for it. And that's a deliberately fostered condition. That's because they've been threatened or because the threat is implicit. That there is no let the punishment fit the crime when it comes to certain topics. If you step on the landmine, you die, right? So that's how they act. And they act like they're really carefully stepping around a bunch of bombs. And it's just sad and pathetic because they know the truth and they just won't say the truth. And what we're seeing is people struggling to deal with this because see how I try to explain this. You've got the outrage about Israel is so overwhelming now that people recognize we cannot sustain our reputation. We can't continue to, act as an authority if we continue to be sycophantically pro-Israel. So we have to change because the arguments that we used to make aren't working anymore. The names we used to call people aren't working anymore. So we got to start talking bad about Israel just to maintain our legitimacy on the right. That's the way that the wind is blowing. Thanks, folks like yours truly and others who have been outspoken about this and upfront about this for a very long time. At the same time, the structure still exists of the landmine field. They're still operating in a system that will destroy you for becoming a threat to Israel. So how do they manage this? How do they walk this tightrope? It's an interesting question, and they're all struggling with it. Let's go to clip number 6 here. This is Charlie Kirk talking to Megyn Kelly about how frustrated he is that he's getting backlash to platforming anti-Israel voices like Dave Smith. Here's Charlie Kirk, again, trying to figure out how to dance in the minefield. Let's watch.
Look, I'm afraid because, again, I want civilization to win. I want the West to win. I don't want the Islamo-fascist barbarians to storm the gates of Jerusalem. I want the holy sites protected. I believe in the Holy Land. I love that Jesus walked on water there and rose from the dead and preached in the Mount of Beatitudes. Like, I feel the connection to Israel. But at the same time, simultaneously, when the hostile reaction is that now Megyn and Charlie are enemies,
right?
Boy, I'll tell you, like you're not gonna, I wouldn't say lose, but you will weaken and just basically deflate two of your strongest advocates if that continues.
You will weaken and deflate two of your strongest advocates if that continues. So he wasn't saying he wasn't saying right there. He said, so now Megyn and Charlie are enemies. He's not saying with each other. He's saying of Israel, right? So he's expressing frustration that despite being a lickspittle, just absolutely shameless devotee of Israel, that the slightest criticism of Israel now has made them declare him an enemy. He's like, I've spent my whole career dedicated to supporting Israel, and now the instance I have somebody on that isn't pro-Israel, now I'm their enemy. And now he's stuck in this position where he's like, I have to still support Israel, but they're both hurting themselves with the overwrought reaction. So like if he actually does care about Israel, he's seeing the way Israel's acting and he's going, you're destroying yourselves. So maybe there's some legitimate, concern happening there. But he's also trying to, justify this as if it's for the sake of Israel when really he knows that he's got to criticize Israel because what they're doing is evil. And he doesn't know how to handle it. He's like, I can't in good conscience pretend I don't see what's going on, but then I'm obligated to support Israel. He's terrified. He literally started that clip by saying, I'm terrified. He's saying, I'm terrified because I don't want the West to succumb to Islamo-fascism. Is that why he's terrified? Is that who's scaring him, the Islamo-fascists? Or is it the Israeli donors to TPUSA who are probably frantic and freaking out right now and demanding that something be done to stop the bleeding? Something has to be done to cauterize this wound before we bleed out and Israel's support completely evaporates and never gets regained in this country and things get real different moving forward. They're real desperate cauterize this wound, and they're leaning on Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk is going, but the more I support Israel, the less legitimacy I have. I mean, they're in a lose-lose situation. They're in a downward spiral, and they're flipping out, and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do about it. I have an answer for you. I have a solution, Charlie Kirk. Megyn Kelly, here's what you do. Tell them to go F themselves. And you tell the truth. You think you're going to lose, or you think it's going to be bad for you to break the shackles that are weighing you down? You're the golem. You're the golem, Charlie Kirk. Do you know how the golem story ends? They've created you. They've given you an incredibly powerful platform because you served their interests. And now they're threatening to take that platform away if you don't continue to serve their interests.